Hello and welcome to this videocast to celebrate the winner of the FAMM Women's Prize winner of the Norval Sovereign Africa Art Prize for 2025, sponsored by Schroders. I'm joined by the winner, Dudu Bloom-Moore, and the director of FAMM, Lisa Poley. The NSAAP, the Norval Sovereign Africa Art Prize, sponsored by Schroders, is a collaboration between the Norval Foundation in Cape Town and the Sovereign Art Foundation, where 5 judges select from a long list which has been produced by nominators from all over the continent of Africa and its diaspora. And the shortlisted artists are then put on display at the Norval Foundation in Cape Town. The judges then visit, they make their judgment for the winner and for the inaugural winner of the FAMM Women's Prize winner. Just before we meet the winner, it would be great to meet the director of FAMM to explain a little more. Lisa, welcome. Just explain what FAMM is and exactly where you are.
Yeah, hi Tim, thanks a lot for having us. Yes, FAMM is a museum, a very new museum. We opened in June 2024, dedicated entirely to female artists, ranging from Impressionism all the way through to contemporary art. We are situated in the south of France in a village called Mougins, which is a historical medieval village. It's about 15 minutes up the hill from Cannes, the famous place where the film festival is. Yes, and as I said, we opened in June 2024. It's a museum that it's over 4 floors, and we start off with Impressionism in the ground floor gallery, Impressionism, Post-Impressionism, then we move on to Surrealism, then we go up a level to the Abstract Gallery, up again to Figurative Art Gallery, and then we finish the visit with the Contemporary Gallery, which is purely, it's like the 21st century gallery. So it's a real journey through like art history, but through the prism of women artists.
It's interesting, you're in one of the many towns in that part of the world associated with the arch male modernist Picasso.
Absolutely.
We'll push him to one side. Would success for FAMM mean ultimately in 50 years' time that FAMM isn't necessary?
Absolutely, it would. Yes, well, hopefully FAMM will always be necessary, but indeed what would be wonderful is that in all the major museums there's no gender imbalance, there's just artists. Nobody said Picasso the male artist, Chagall the male artist. So it would be good that terminology could be wiped out of everybody's minds, and you go into a museum and you just look at the wonderful art and it's not separated by gender. So hopefully FAMM will exist for many, 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 many centuries. But yes, hopefully there will be a balance to this terrible imbalance that there is at the moment.
Okay, briefly, how did the partnership with the Norval Sovereign Africa Art Prize come about?
Well, Christian Levette, who is the owner of the museum and the collection, met with Howard Bilton from the Sovereign Art Foundation, and it was around the time that we were actually launching the museum FAMM. So they got chatting, and Howard was discussing the Sovereign's plan to establish an African prize similar to the one that the existing Asian prize for women artists. And as an active philanthropist and a passionate supporter of women in the arts, Christian was immediately drawn to this initiative, especially this initiative's dual focus, which is on artistic support and the charitable work that goes with it. So he was delighted to be able to come on board and to support this wonderful idea.
Okay. So let's meet the winner, Dudu Bloom-Moore. Congratulations, Dudu. Your work, Contending with Control, was the winning entry. That's why you won. Just first of all, how do you feel about being acknowledged as a prize winner for women artists? Is that a problem for you?
Presenting. That's the first time that FAMM is sponsoring this prize, so that's also, I'm honored to be the first and can't wait to see who comes after me. and I feel amazing. I really didn't expect it. When I saw the list of the finalists, I thought the big prizes were going to them, and I was leaning towards the voters prize, the public prize. But yeah, it came to me with such a surprise, and I love the feeling. I never expected it.
Wonderful. It's a very generous response, and shows how richly you deserve the prize. Your work, the winning work, involves a lot of weaving or stitching, and tell us about that particular work and your practice and the materials that you use.
Sure. So my artwork is titled Contending with Control, and it was the first of a body of work that I called What Do I Dare to Say Out Loud? And where it came from, I was going through this queer feeling of very existential crisis, like what is happening in my life? Am I an artist? Why am I an artist? What am I saying in my art? Why am I waking up in the morning? Just constantly asking myself where I am in my life. And a lot of what I was learning was having to let go. And that's a struggle for most people, where you think everything, you have to have it in control for you to succeed, or etc. And yeah, that artwork was me contending with control, because even just the cycle, the circle, it's a repetitive image or motive, and it doesn't come to an end. It's those questions that I keep asking myself. The thread and the stitching, again, is a repetitive thing where I'm asking myself all these questions, and I'm trying to control whatever's happening on the canvas or in my life. And yeah, but at the same time, the details are very similar to each other, but they kind of get off, because in the nature of things, you can't be in complete control. And in terms of using the color ivory, for me, I was feeling so calm, funnily enough. It was confusing for me, because I'm having all these questions in my head, but at the same time, I know I have to go through this transformation where I learn to let go and see what comes next. And yeah, the color, I find it very calm and very muted, where it was like, so much is happening, so much is going through my mind, but I'm kind of leaning into this learning of contending with control.
It's very interesting, because the idea of control and loss of control is really there in your work, but you are very much in control of the process, I would say. It looks like something that is very controlled, but obviously material will also have a life of its own to some extent.
100%. Even because I look at thread and wool as a story or a narrative of its own, and at some point you have to cut that thread to continue. And yeah, I've like with each process or with each thread, whenever I need to cut, it's a new story that I'm telling. And again, that's talking to control, where the control has to end at some point and the new story has to start again.
Your words, if I may, your words resonate, because I was reading recently that the wonderful artist Louise Bourgeois said that sewing is a form of repair and new beginnings and fixing things, and whether it's emotional or whatever. And so it's very interesting to hear what you say. It resonates extremely. Yeah. And while I'm talking, I would just like to really extend our heartfelt congratulations to you, Dudu, on winning this prize, and we really wish you all the success in the world.
Lisa mentions Louise Bourgeois. Which artists have inspired you most in your career to date?
So many. Before I even started creating, I was looking at Pamela Sandstrom and Senzeni Mahasela. And now, as I look at thread a lot, I definitely look at Sheila Hicks and her whole career. trajectory. Yeah, and those are the ones at the top of my head right now, but quite a few.
We curators and art historians have very strong senses of context. We like to put artists in different contexts. It's how we make sense of things. I'll ask Lisa in a minute how she would contextualize you, but do you feel, does the notion of being an African artist or a South African artist or a Cape Townian or Johannesburgian artist, do these things mean very specific things to you? Do you see yourself in regional or national context at all?
I do, because I'm born and bred here, and all my interactions are from here. My inspirations, my daily experiences are from here. And, as an artist, you do want to go out of your home, out of your country to go, explore what is out there. But once you're there, the feeling of home. You remember what home is, and you learn so much about how it has made you. And yeah, I think definitely, and I think it's interesting that when you do talk to artists, you do resonate in certain, concepts or ideas, but at the end of the day, where you come from, your upbringing, your surroundings is what has truly influenced and made you.
Lisa, how would you contextualize Dudu's work?
Oh, vast question. It's very interesting actually to hear what Dudu has just said, and it makes 100% sense. And I think I kind of want to ask the question back, because as you say, Dudu, you're born and bred, and your work is very much a part of your everyday life and surroundings. How would you feel to see your work? Do you think your work would take on another kind of meaning or interpretation if it was exhibited outside of your home country? Do you think it would have a different aspect, or would it be more bringing a little bit of your home to other parts of the world and in other contexts?
I like that question. I think so. I think there's I think visually, it could play internationally, like it would fit a bit more easily, but in certain details and, the concept behind it, I think that's when you can recognize that it's not, it's from South Africa, or it's from a Black woman artist. So yeah, I think yes or no. It's an interesting question. And also just
let's see if we can make that opportunity happen.
Yeah.
But just briefly, Dudu, you've seen your work now hanging on the walls of the Norval Foundation in the context of these Norval Sovereign Africa Art Prize. So you're together with artists from across the continent. Did it shift the way subtly you saw your work? Did it make you see your work slightly differently in that context?
Not entirely. I think before I knew the finalists, yes, I was just like, oh, what am I doing? When I found out I'm a shortlisted, I was like, oh, that's very interesting. But in terms of seeing all our works together, I think there is a place for my work. And yeah, it makes me happy to be recognized in that type of, field or technique. Yeah.
What will you do next? What will the prize enable you to do, and what work are you working on at the moment?
So after that body of work with the existential crisis, I decided I'll, focus on now feeding into my work. I think previously all I used to do was create. But now I feel like I've created as much as I can, and I need to feed into my work. So next comes residencies and experiences, and exploring with other artists, learning more about my craft, and making my concept stronger, and yeah, then eventually getting to a point where I can create from a stronger place and a more mature place. Yeah, residencies.
Both of you looking for you to give advice, or what would your advice be to young women aspiring to be artists? Dudu, what's your advice?
Go for it. Go for it. Sometimes I feel like due to social media and the website, the internet, being an artist can be quite glamorized because we see the end result. But, when you are starting out, there's a lot of consistency, there's a lot of focus, there's a lot of passion that needs to go into your work. And I would say to the women artists, stick to that lane and do what you love, and go to visit different places, speak to other artists. I remember when I was starting out and I started visiting galleries and museums, I always used to look at artwork and be like, whoa, that's so cool. I can do whatever I want there. It was out of my imagination, looking at other people's work. So it gave me the confidence to try what I wanted to try. And yeah, just do your best, focus and have a good time. And, there will be struggles, but it's so fulfilling. I say go for it. And there's opportunities now, like the FAMM prize. And yeah, so I'm all for women doing their best.
Lisa.
Oh, I agree entirely with Dudu. I think perseverance is a major quality to have. Curiosity also, as Dudu said, going out and seeing what other people are doing. And I also agree entirely on interaction with other artists. I think this is absolutely crucial, because I think as an artist, you can feel quite lonely in your creation. And you're just you are just facing your creation, and one can have many doubts. So I think interacting with fellow artists of all different styles is absolutely essential, and that's what's happened through the art world, over the years. When you imagine, the artists hanging out in Montparnasse or Montmartre, or the abstract expressionists hanging out at the Cedar Bar in the Village in New York. All this interaction between all the different types of arts, whether you're a visual artist, whether you're a writer, a musician. I think that's just essential. And believe in yourself and carry on, because I think being an artist, that means that you have something inside of you that needs to be expressed. And I think you just need to continue and believe in yourself and keep going, as long as you are experiencing pleasure from your creation. And what a wonderful return on your creation when you see your work hanging, when you receive prizes like this, when you see your work hanging in a gallery, in a museum, even in your local town hall. You're getting people's feedback from what you've created, and you are no longer alone with your artwork. And that's I think very satisfying. So yeah, perseverance, keep your passion, and believe in yourself.
Lisa, thank you, and thank you to FAMM for supporting the prize. Most importantly of all, though, Dudu Bloom, congratulations. You're a worthy winner. Keep persevering, and know that thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, will see your work in the exhibition at the Norval Foundation that runs until the 20th of April. And all the works are in a benefit auction hosted by Strauss & Co, which closes on the 13th of March. And the proceeds of the sales are split 50-50 with artists and the Norval Foundation's Learning Centre to perpetuate this idea of sharing art. All information is on the prize website, sovereignartfoundation.com. Thank you both, and congratulations again.
Thank you. Congratulations, Dudu.
Thank you so much. Thank you.